just a peace that came over me that night, and a peace that came over me. It was just so exhilarating and so exciting, and so many people that had been in my life for so long and supported this dream, supported this goal, and not only were they there cheering me on that night, but they had been such a part of the preparation for Miss Arkansas. And I just remember being so excited about the year and so excited about going to Miss America and about, starting that next fresh day as Miss Arkansas.
I just remember how nervous I was and how, excited and surprised all at the same time. And I remember walking down the runway and seeing Sarah French. She had just won Miss Missouri, and looking at her and thinking, we're going to be a Miss America together. And then also after walking back up the runway, and then all my friends and family being there, and just how surreal it was and how excited I was. And also how I didn't know what amazing things were ahead of me for the next year.
The thing I guess I remember most is the picture that was taken when I was crowned, because I was pointing up. And in that moment I said a quick prayer of thanks to the Lord for that gift. And I wanted to make sure I honored Him first, because that was a gift to me that I had prayed for and that I'd worked towards for so long.
I was standing there with the 6 girls who remained. At that point they called the winner from the top 10. So first runner-up, second runner-up, third runner-up, fourth runner-up, they'd all been called. And I'm standing there with 6 other women, and they called my name. In true Sarah Slocum fashion, my mouth flew open, and every single paper in the state of Arkansas had that picture of me on the front page the next day. So I loved that moment. I loved being able to ride up the glass elevator in the embassy and celebrate with everyone. But I do wish I'd kept my mouth closed.
But I remember jumping up and down and just kind of, I guess, losing myself in the moment, because it really was surreal. You hear girls say that, but it's so true. You can't believe they're calling your name. You can't believe that all that hard work is coming true. But one of the things I remember the most is just being surrounded by contestants who I was genuinely friends with, and who I could tell were genuinely happy for me. And so even going back and looking at the tapes and seeing that crowning moment, I think even more happy than I was for winning is seeing the excitement with the people who had spent so much time with, that they were so happy for me too.
I just remember feeling like suddenly I was living the exact thing that I had been teaching my students, because I was a teacher. I was 23 years old. I had been teaching and already doing school programs and motivational programs before I was crowned Miss Arkansas, just because I loved it. It was fun. And I realized I was living what I had been talking about for so many years. So that crowning moment, that was a pretty joyful moment for me to realize that your dreams can come true.
My crowning moment, I can honestly say 2 things. Number 1, when they called the second runner-up and it wasn't me, it was a huge sigh of relief on my part, and probably on my parents' part, just because I thought, well, I moved up. It was my last year of eligibility, so I'd done better than previous years, and to me that was already a success. But I honestly can just remember falling to my knees and just being so thankful that this panel of judges believed that I was a qualified and a worthy candidate for the job. And I was thankful for the support of my family and friends who had given so tirelessly every single year in helping me achieve my dream.
I think it's always really catty, the pageant superstition, where you have your hands on top and therefore you win. And I realized that my hands were on top and I didn't want to be that girl. And so I switched to hands so we could each have one on top, one on bottom. And I remember Lauren just looked me in the eyes and she just said, "Ashlyn, I love you." And I said, "Lauren, I love you too." And I don't really know if I even heard the announcement. I think I maybe heard it from Lauren, "You won." And I know that I nearly fainted. I think my knees buckled and I was just in shock. And the noise, that noise when everyone just cheers as soon as that announcement is made, it's deafening, and the feeling is incredible, all in one moment, that your life has changed forever, that school is paid for, that everything you've been dreaming of for years is coming true. And It's pretty indescribable. I cannot watch the video of my crowning moment without crying to this day. And so I think it's probably one of the most special, intense moments of my life, and I'm glad that I got to share it with Lauren.
I guess what I remember about my crowning moment is standing on stage with the confetti falling down and the girls are coming up to you and giving you hugs. And I just kept thinking, is this moment really happening? Because you envision that crowning moment in your mind over and over and over again. And when it finally happens, you want to make sure that it's reality.
Honestly, I guess because Ouachita was such a close family unit, and so many of the women there, the young women there that were my friends, had helped me choreograph my number once Doc Callanan finished with it. And the one moment I remember is I got to the end of the ramp, because I was not expected to win. I mean, that was not in my realm of thinking. And there was my daddy standing there with tears streaming down his face going, "That's my punk." And then immediately when I turned around, all the Ouachita crowd was standing there with tears coming out of their eyes. And so to know that my family and my friends were excited was just the best of all.
Actually, it's funny. I remember my crowning moment because Paula Montgomery crowned me, and she stood in front of me and put the crown on my head. And we still joke about that because I say, "Paula, you're supposed to crown somebody from the back. You're experienced. You know that." And we laugh about it. But I remember thinking right before they announced the winner, because back then they did a top 10 and they announced all the runners up, and you still didn't know who Miss Arkansas was going to be. And I was standing there thinking, okay, I made 4th runner-up my last year I competed, so either I did a lot better or I didn't even make the top 5. So I was just like really nervous. But then I got the crown and I was so excited. And I just knew all of the things that were coming up and that was going through my head as I was walking the runway, and I was very excited.
My crowning moment, well, it was again in Hot Springs at the Oaklawn racetrack, and I had won 2 preliminaries. I was very pleased with that, but you never know how it's going to fall. And I'll give you an example. There was a tie for first place when I was competing that second time, and the judges took the person with the highest points in talent, and I barely was Miss Arkansas by 2 points. And my life would have changed dramatically because those 2 points took me to Miss America and beyond.